We are Southeastern 16. I'm Chase Robinson as we're talking SEC football today. And should we buy into this South Carolina hype after their big win over Kentucky last week? They're in Lexington. So I'll give you a couple of reasons and my thoughts on the South Carolina hype. But first, let's talk about BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. If you think you know your stuff, you can get in on a $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, you can go to the online casino, get in on a game of blackjack or poker or one of the over 150 slots games. So head over to their website today to get in on the action. BetOnline. The game starts here. So tons of excitement right now around South Carolina based off what they were able to do last week against Kentucky. I feel like a Kentucky team that a lot of people, I was high on them coming into the season. I thought they were going to have a really good defense. They have a lot of veteran guys. I thought maybe Brock Vandagriff would be able to move the ball really well, and maybe we'll see that from Kentucky. But going into the South Carolina game, and I'll be the first to tell you, I had some concerns. I had some questions about South Carolina. They did win their week 1 game against Old Dominion 23-19, but I was concerned. I thought this was going to be a South Carolina team that was not going to live up to anything we had talked about. And I just based it off that one performance. Last week, they proved me wrong against Kentucky. Again, they went out 31-6 was the final. They held Kentucky to 6 points, and again they were putting pressure on Brock Vandagriff all during that game. Now I feel like we're at a week where it is. This is huge. This is LSU is coming to Columbia, South Carolina. College game day is going to be there. The hype for this game is huge heading into this South Carolina LSU game. We're going to learn so much about this South Carolina team, I feel like, in this game. So the question that I'm posing, should we buy into the South Carolina hype? I'll say we'll know a lot more after Saturday's game at 11 a.m. on ABC on whether we should or not. But I have a couple of reasons that I think will be why we can buy into the South Carolina hype. And I think the first thing is, from what we need to see some consistent play from the offense. If we do that, maybe we could buy into this South Carolina hype. But I feel like they have the pieces offensively to be really good. LaNorris Sellars, starting for the first time. He needs to show some consistency. He is just 54% pass completion rate in his first 2 games. You'd like to see that go up. You'd like to see his numbers go up a little bit. Looking for the season, he's 20 of 37, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. He has been sacked 8 times. And so there's been a lot of pressure on him. But if they can find some consistent play from the LaNorris Sellars, that will definitely help. Staying on the offense, another way they can find some consistency is get Rocket Sanders more involved. And if we see the Rocket Sanders of like 2022 when he was at Arkansas, that will definitely be a huge bonus to this South Carolina team. But I think if Rocket Sanders can get going, he's got really strong legs. He's a really strong runner. And I know he's battled injury, but still, I think if they can get him going, I think that will definitely be a huge benefit to the offense there at South Carolina. And then as far as receivers go, I feel like it's finding that main target. They've only have 2 passing touchdowns on the season. Mazio Bennett caught 1, and Joshua Simon caught the other. Nick Harbor has not really been involved catching the ball much, and so it'll be interesting for them to find that target, find that guy that could be the playmaker catching the football for the South Carolina Gamecocks. And if they can find that, if LaNorris Sellars can find some consistency, find some guys to throw to consistently, and get Rocket Sanders involved, I think we will see consistency on offense. And that's a reason I think we could could buy into the South Carolina hype. My second reason I think we could, and kind of a way we could, is if the defense can continue to be exceptional. I say continue. I thought they had a really good game against Kentucky. Anytime you hold a team to 6 points, that's a good day. Now, Old Dominion put up 19 on South Carolina. Old Dominion, fairly good football team. But I think if the defense continues off what they did Saturday, I think South Carolina, we're having different conversations. And it starts with this defensive front. I love this defensive line. They're going to be a handful for a lot of teams this year. I really do think so. I really like the guys on the edges. Dylan Stewart, he's a freshman. Kyle Kennard, transfer from Georgia Tech. They've combined for 6 sacks this season. I really like their play. I really like the way they look. And then you got guys along the defensive line. Tonka Hemingway is a guy. He got some preseason all SEC honors. He's going to be a force up front this year. I like the linebacking core as well there for the Gamecocks. And so I like the defense. Debo Williams, one of those guys that I think is going to be a huge piece for South Carolina. But look, the defense needs to be exceptional. They can't take weeks off. They're up against some really good offenses in the SEC that they're going to face. I mean, you look at the schedule for South Carolina, obviously LSU can put up some good numbers offensively. Ole Miss is one of the best offensive teams in the country. Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Vanderbilt, Missouri, Clemson. Those are all teams that are left on the schedule for the South Carolina Gamecocks. And so those are some really elite offenses that South Carolina is going to face. This defense has to be ready for that challenge. I think they can be. So the question is, should we buy into this South Carolina hype? We'll find out more after Saturday against LSU, but I think a way to test that is the offense consistent and is the defense exceptional? Those are 2 reasons or 2 ways I think we can find out if we can buy into this South Carolina hype. We've got you covered on SEC football, South Carolina, and all the rest of the SEC. All 16 teams we cover here on Southeastern 16. So subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with your friends. And hey, if you're interested in advertising, caroline.smith@southeastern14.com. We can begin those conversations. But we provide SEC football, basketball, and baseball content to you daily here on the channel. So subscribe, like this video, and we'll be reacting to all the college football games Saturday night here on the channel. So check it out. It's Southeastern 16. I'm Chase Robinson, and it's presented to you by BetOnline.